everyone, it's Meg and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my spring TBR. You guys should know by now I don't generally make monthly TBRs because I don't read enough books in a month to make it worthwhile. But I want to try and give myself some guidelines when it comes to seasonal TBRs, and I did do one for winter and I can't remember what books I had on it, to be honest with you. I don't even know how well I did on it. But I thought I would do one for spring because I am definitely a mood reader, so my mood for the type of books that I read changes with the seasons. So I thought I would share with you guys some books I want to read this spring. Obviously spring is a shorter month, so I better get on it, and I have around about 5 or 6 books here that I want to read. I don't know if I'll definitely get to all of them in the spring, but I definitely will try and get to them at some point this year if I don't. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. First up, I have The Upside of Falling by Alex Light. I got this in a recent subscription box from BookBox Club, and I have heard of this book before, and it is basically a fake romance story. And even though I'm always in denial about the fact that I am not a fan of fake dating, I always say that to myself, but every time I read a book that involves fake dating I end up really enjoying it. So we will see if it is any different with this book. I don't know much about this book apart from the fact that it's about 2 characters who are very different and they are in high school, and obviously they start fake dating. But I feel like there is a lot of a deeper tone to this book as well, which I'm really looking forward to finding out about. And there's also baking involved in this, and we got a recipe with the book in the box. So I want to try and do a reading vlog for this book and then do the cooking, do some baking, do the recipe and see what happens. So that might be fun at some point. So maybe you can look out for that in the future because video will definitely be up after this. But I'm really in the mood for a contemporary, cute fluffy contemporary, and I don't actually have many left on my TBR that are like this, that are like young adult fluffy contemporary novels. So yes, I'm really looking forward to getting to this, and I'm looking forward to seeing what I think. I hope it's got a lot of potential, so fingers crossed I will enjoy it. Next up, I actually have a reread, and that is I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. I read this way back in 2017 when I originally discovered this story, and I actually fell in love with it. I did actually start reading this earlier this year, but I put it down because I was in a reading slump and I didn't know what to read. So I have not even read the first chapter, I've read like 10 pages. But this is a book that I feel like a lot of people tend to have on the shelves but they haven't read. And in case you didn't know what it is about a girl named Cassandra who lives in a crumbling castle with her father, who is a writer and hasn't written a book in 12 years, about her older sister who just wants to get out of this crumbling castle and poverty, and her spiritual airy fairy stepmother. And one day their neighbours move in to the castle next door, who are 2 American brothers, and their stories intertwine and it goes off from there, and it's such a wonderful book. I feel like if you have read the Gables series, I feel like you will really enjoy this because Cassandra is very similar to Anne, she's very charismatic, and I'm really looking forward to diving back in because I want to annotate it because I finally have my own copy because I was borrowing my mum's for ages. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to get back into this book. I feel like it's a very spring-like book, I don't know why, but I do. So yeah, I'm so looking forward to diving back into this book, and I really hope that I'm going to enjoy it just as much or even more than I did last time. Next up, I have The Lido by Libby Page. You guys should know that I read The 24-Hour Cafe by Libby Page earlier this year and I really enjoyed it. It was one of my most anticipated releases for the year, and this is Libby's debut, which I don't know much about apart from the fact that it's about 2 people called Rosemary and Kate, and they basically come together to save their local Lido, I believe, and that's literally all I know about it. And I feel like it concentrates a lot on female friendships, as I know the 24-Hour Cafe did. That's one of the main topics of the book. I feel like that's one of the main topics of this book, but I'm really glad that I discovered Libby. I really enjoyed the 24-Hour Cafe. I love the story. It's a story that I can really relate to. I really enjoyed the writing. That's one of my favourite things about the book. So I'm really looking forward to reading Libby's debut and getting back into her writing again, because it's such a breath of fresh air to anything like I've read before. And I feel like it's just going to be a really fun, enjoyable read. I feel like this is a book that I'm definitely going to be picking up very, very soon, so I cannot wait, and I hope I'm really going to enjoy it just as much as the 24-Hour Cafe. Next up, we actually have a poetry book, and that is The World's Wife by Carol Ann Duffy. I picked this up with a voucher from W.H. Smith's in the sales section, and I have never read anything by Carol Ann Duffy. If you don't know who she is a very well-known and loved UK poet. She is a poet laureate for somewhere in Manchester, I think, or maybe it's she's the UK's poet laureate. Either way, she's very well known and very well loved, but I've never had a book by hers. I have read some of her poems, but I've never had a collection by her. And all I know about this book, apart from how stunning it is that these are poems about the wives and the sisters and like the female companions of famous men, whether they are real or fictional or legends like Greek gods and all that sort of thing. And it's like a feminist take, and I find it really intriguing. I've read the first 2 poems before I bought the book, and I really enjoyed them, and I really enjoy Carol's writing from what I've read so far, and I feel like it's just going to be a wonderful collection and really fun and snappy and witty and cheeky as well. I just feel like it's just going to be so much fun, and I'd never read a collection like this before, and obviously I'm so excited to finally read a whole collection by Carol Ann Duffy, as she's such a well-loved poet here in the UK. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to reading this, and hopefully I will enjoy it. Next up, these are 2 books, but I'm only going to read one or the other. I will read both of them eventually, but I want to try and read a fantasy book this spring. I don't know how well that's going to go, if I'm actually going to get to it, but I have 2 choices here. So I feel like I might have included one of these in my winter TBR. So if I did, sorry, not sorry, but I obviously didn't get to it. So the choices I have for this are Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi or Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. These are probably 2 of the most hyped and most loved fantasy books on BookTube. So many people love them, and they are both series. This is a duology. I don't know how many books are in this series. I feel like there might be 3. There's definitely 2. The second one came out fairly recently, but they are so well loved, and I just kind of in the mood to read a fantasy at the moment, and fantasy is something I want to get more into this year. So these are my choices. I feel like I might have included this book in my winter TBR. Like, could be wrong, but I feel like I might have. So yeah, I don't know masses about these books apart from what people have told me and what I've heard on BookTube. Like, this is a very vague concept for Strange the Dreamer. I have actually read the first chapter of this book for a video that I'm probably not going to end up putting up because it was rather rubbish. But yeah, I'm really intrigued. I want to get to both these books eventually, kind of leaning towards Children of Blood and Bone at the moment, but we will see. But yeah, I definitely want to try and get to a fantasy book at the moment, even though they are both absolute chunkers. They are, I feel like they're at least 500 pages each, so that'll keep me occupied. But yeah, I really want to try and get to one of these very soon, and then hopefully if I like it I will continue on with both of the series, because I have the second book for this series. I don't have the second one for this yet, but you know, it's a new time. Spring is a time for new beginnings, so I'm going to try and read one of these, and hopefully I will enjoy it and I can keep on reading more fantasy. And the last book that I have, which I don't currently own but I will definitely be getting at some point soon, is Anne of Ingleside by Ellen Montgomery, which is the last and final book in the Anne of Green Gables series. Anne of Green Gables is a series that I have been reading since 2015, I think. I have been reading 1 book a year. I always read the books during springtime. I don't know why, I just feel like I associate the Prince Edward Island with spring, especially because of all the beautiful cherry blossoms and just the landscape in general. It just reminds me of spring. So I read a book every year, and I actually read 2 of the books last year. There is about 5 or 6 books in the series, I think. There's 6 books in the series. I've got the rest of them over there, but there are 6 books in the series, so I'm on the final one, and it's a story that I hold very near and dear to my heart. I watched the adaptation with Megan Follows in it from when I was a child, and I absolutely fell in love with it, and I really enjoyed the first and second book are definitely my favourite. I'm not a massive fan of the rest of the series, I must admit. I feel like the 4th book is my least favourite, but it just depends. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how it wraps up, because I feel like it is quite different to the last film, the adaptation I have watched, but I feel like it does wrap up similarly. So I'm just really looking forward to be back with Anne and Gilbert and back on Prince Edward Island again. I'm just really looking forward to it. It's such a fun, gentle series, and I feel like a lot of people haven't read, if you have read the first book, they haven't carried on with the series. So if you have only read the first book of the series, go and pick the rest of the series up and tell me what you think. But yeah, I'm really looking forward for the series coming to an end, even though it's quite sad, but I'll definitely be going back to my favourite books in the series and rereading them. I don't know if I'll go back to the rest, the whole series, but I'm really looking forward to reading the final book of the series and being back with some of my favourite characters again. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about the books that I want to read this spring. Like I said, it could be subject to change because I am a serious mood reader, but I really want to whittle down my TBR as much as possible, and I feel like I could possibly do that, fingers crossed, even though I get a couple of pages into a book and then switch, but we're working on it, okay, we're working on it. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books and your thoughts on them, or some books that you would like to read this spring. I would love to know as always. If you like this video, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more bookish videos from me, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and little bell icon so you'll be noted every time I post a new video. As always, I will leave the links to my social media along with the links to my Goodreads in the description down below for you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!